My name is Rachel, and for a long time, I believed I was building a solid life based on respect, complicity, and true love with the man I chose to be my husband, my partner, my confidant, and my rock. I met Ethan in my senior year of college, on a rainy afternoon when my umbrella broke, and he showed up offering me his with that easy, unpretentious smile that carried something that made anyone feel safe. I remember that at that time, I could hardly trust anyone after growing up with emotionally absent parents and an older brother, who made me feel small, even in my happiest moments. But Ethan seemed to see something in me that no one else saw, something that even I couldn't see. He invited me for coffee that afternoon, and our conversation flowed as if we had known each other for years. It didn't take long for us to become inseparable. We began to share not only our time, but our plans, challenges, dreams, and pains. He knew my traumas, my fears, my scars, and I knew his, or at least the part he wanted to show me, when he proposed to me on a pier lit by makeshift hanging lights. With a ring I had shown him months before, I cried with emotion because, at that moment, everything seemed to fall into place. We worked hard, but we supported each other. I bought the house where we live with a mortgage that I took on alone, because Ethan was still trying to get his own company off the ground, a small graphic design business that had been struggling for years. Even so, I believed in him. I believed in him so much that, in addition to paying all the household bills myself, I also helped him financially to keep the company afloat during the first few years of losses, paying not only the office rent, but also the equipment, software, and even the salaries of the only 2 employees he had at the time. Meanwhile, my career in financial consulting was taking off. I rose quickly through the ranks and became an executive manager before I was 30. I worked overtime, traveled the country, specialized, came back with an MBA, and still took care of the house, organized our finances, did the grocery shopping, cooked on Sundays, and prepared lunch boxes for the week. When I thought about the future, it was with Ethan by my side. It was a busy life. But there was love, or so I thought, until everything started to change, and what was once subtle became a pattern. Ethan began to shut down, get irritated by little things, forget important dates, and respond with disdain to everything involving my plans, my achievements, my efforts. And in the midst of all this, Megan appeared. Megan, the childhood friend, the one who always appeared in old photos, always commented on his posts with strange nicknames, and who at first I thought it was an exaggeration to be bothered by. But over time, the signs became too obvious to ignore. She started showing up more and more often, first to have coffee, then to talk about business, then because she was feeling lonely, and Ethan couldn't let her down. At first, I tried not to show jealousy. I wanted to be understanding, mature. But the truth is that Megan had a look that unsettled me. A crooked smile, a way of treating me as if I were a supporting actress in my own home. The last straw came when, after months of planning a trip with Ethan's entire family, something I organized with all the love in the world to celebrate my in-laws' 40th wedding anniversary, he simply told me that Megan was also going. He didn't ask me, he didn't talk to me, he just informed me. He said she was going through a difficult time and needed support. What's more, since there were no more spots available in the package we booked, he transferred my cabin to her and booked me a tiny room in the basement of the ship near the engines. When I questioned this with a trembling voice, he looked at me impatiently and said I was overreacting, that Megan was practically family, and that I should be more generous. I was in shock. I looked at my in-laws, hoping for some common sense, but they just smiled and praised Ethan for his thoughtfulness in including an old friend. I felt alone in the middle of a crowd that claimed to love me. I spent the trip trying not to break down, but every gesture, every glance, every muffled laugh between Ethan and Megan was a new stab in the heart. When I got back, I decided to spend some time away. I went to Portland, to a friend's house, took only the essentials, and told Ethan I needed some time. He didn't protest. On the contrary, he helped me put my bags in the car with a lightness that broke me inside. How could someone who said he loved me let me go so easily? I spent 3 months away. I went to intensive therapy. I immersed myself in reading, reconnected with old friends, cried like I hadn't cried in years. I discovered strengths in myself that I didn't even know existed. When I came back, I was a different person. I went into the house to get the rest of my things and found Megan wearing my favorite sweatshirt, sitting on the couch where Ethan and I used to watch movies wrapped in blankets, eating from the same bowl of popcorn. She smiled as if nothing was out of place. Ethan showed up minutes later, acting as if everything was normal. "You're back earlier than I expected," he said. And at that moment, I understood that he no longer saw me as part of that house. I explained that I was just there to pack my things and inform him that my lawyer had already filed for divorce. He turned pale but said nothing. For weeks, I received messages from him trying to reverse the situation, saying that he had made a mistake, that he had been pressured, that he was sorry, but I didn't give in. I started a new life in another apartment, decorating it with my own paintings, my books, my music. I changed the color of my furniture, the tone of my voice, my posture. I accepted a new job in New York and reinvented myself. Meanwhile, Ethan was sinking into debt. Megan left him after a few months of marriage, taking half of his furniture and all his savings with her. His company, which I had supported for years, went bankrupt. I even received a message from his mother saying that I had thrown away an entire family and that Megan wasn't the woman she seemed to be. I read it silently and blocked the number. Today, I look back and don't recognize myself in that woman who accepted crumbs, who apologized for existing, who begged for attention from a family that never saw me as a real part of it. Today, I travel the world. I've been to Greece, Paris, Kyoto. I've learned to love myself, to say no, to walk away when love is no longer being served. I've made new friends, built a business with a friend I met by chance in a coffee shop who believed in me like no one ever had before. Our company is thriving. We have a small but passionate team. Every day when I open the door to my glass office in Brooklyn, I take a deep breath and give thanks for having had the courage to leave that emotional prison they called marriage. Ethan has become a distant memory, a necessary mistake, an eternal warning, Megan. A nameless specter. My biggest lesson was understanding that self-love is the foundation of everything. That when we truly choose ourselves, the whole world reconfigures itself around us. That we deserve more than tolerance. We deserve enthusiasm, respect, admiration. Today, when I look in the mirror, I see a woman who is not afraid to walk alone, who does not need anyone to validate her worth. And if one day love knocks on my door again, it will have to sit at the table with all of this. My strength, my history, my autonomy, because now, finally, I am whole.